Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with To Be Hero X episode number 7 reaction. So the previous episode, we had Yancho little by little gaining up the ranks. He's becoming more and more like Isol, and people are kind of comparing them. Isol's popularity was going down while his was going up because of a multiple amount of reasons. Because he was more people friendly. He was like, he didn't wear a mask so people could relate to him more, and a lot of other stuff, like the younger generation started flocking to him. So yeah, that was going on. So that, because of that, the original Isol, his company, that guy tried to frame him, and like brought like multiple fake like evidences to sully his name. But we also got to see Enlighter, I think that was his name, right? Yeah, he kind of came, and because yeah, that guy, what was his name? Shanchao, right? I think so, yeah. He brought and hired him, and he was able to clear Yancho's name. But even after all of that, even after a lot of other stuff, in the end, they sent an assassin to take out Yancho, but that assassin mistakenly shot his friend because he was wearing the new prototype mask, I think. And yeah, that's how it ended. He got shot. So yeah, let's see what happens today. Let's begin. I'll be putting the subtitles and the timer here. Sync it to whichever is your preference, and let's begin. Okay, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, this guy, he was the son of the Treeman uh, president, Treeman Group president. Until this matter is settled. Yeah, I knew this is going to, because this is the second time he lost someone in front of him. First was his parents stabbing his feet. Mm, okay. Vaguely tell. Wait, who the? Oh, it was him. Yeah, I knew it was one of, like, hired by that guy, but I didn't realize that that might be him. I thought it was some random like person that they hired. Okay. Hmm. 3 seats. Oh, right. Because obviously, hmm. Yeah, the official like police force are probably. Oh, he hired a lighter. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. Still in jail on paper. Yeah. Hmm. Oh no. They took him out. Oh, they took him out. Yeah. Yep. Damn. Oh boy. Yeah. He is. Skill cannot be penciled on one side. Damn. Right. Well, he has to answer this because obviously someone is directly calling you out, and that someone is not some nobody, but he's I don't care. Bro, this guy's annoying me. This guy's. Yeah, you are the one who hired that person, I'm pretty sure. Damn, all these YouTubers. Like. Yeah, and the thing is, he will lose his hero powers if his trust value drops into a certain degree. Oh my god, these. Yeah? Bruh. Yeah, it's going down. I'm pretty sure this is the dude who hired that guy. Because I doubt the old Esol had any idea what is going on. Like, in the background, what his company is doing. Hmm. Right. True. Damn. Oh god, his hand. Yeah. Oh boy. What? Hmm. How will we do that? Right. Hmm. So we have to push him to a certain point that he has to use it? No, he won't stop. He is just. He doesn't care. He's only looking. Oh. Hmm. Oh, Lucky Shan. Look forward. Hello? Yeah. Thank God the road was empty. If there were traffic in there, you'd be crashing your face into a car or something. Hmm. Hmm. Damn. Yeah. What the? That's a great excuse. Hmm. Yeah. Do not forget your true self or something like that. Always do everything confidently, whatever you're doing. Right. Okay. Oh. Ah. Here. Damn, the drones are catching the footage. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but he has experience. The other, the old whistle. Oh, you heard that? The finger clicking noise? Oh, whoa, what the hell? Why are we seeing Lucky Shian here? Oh damn, she'll be providing background music. Okay. All right, here we go. Oh, this is just yeah. His defense is, as they said, his defense is crazy. Okay. Oh, she's alone in the concert. Oh my god. Oh, he's just standing there and walking. Oh yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, this is crazy. In no way, like it's like you're fighting a level 100 boss while you yourself is level 20. He's not flinching. Like Uncle Rock did say that he had some plan. Whoa. God damn. Wow. This guy will be the downfall of old Isol. This was his plan. Wow. Oh, that I was like, how are they doing this? I see. So, god damn, this guy became the downfall of old Esau. Because he's the one who's like pushing him to do all of these things that he doesn't even want to do. Okay. Oh, is he? He's using it, right? Yeah. So he'll be no, no. He. Oh no, he used his shield. Never mind. Oh, he broke it. Damn. Oh my god. Okay, okay. Yeah, that is crazy. He's doing damage now. Trust value is increasing. Yep. Trust value is increasing. Yeah, you were the, like this is crazy. They're just not letting him do as he wants to do it. Like other people are dictating how he should use his powers. Is this the lightning? What was it called? I think so. Yeah. Okay, so he'll be completely defenseless now, and this is a time when Yancho will. Oh! Oh, he hesitated there a little bit because of, and he's blaming himself as well. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, and also the fact that people believe it to be. Yeah, this guy's. Oh my god. You know what? I kind of thought that this guy's. Oh, he was the one who was behind the. And that's why. Oh my god. I was saying, like, like, why would some random kid get. Oh my god. Uh, so, oh my god. That's great. But why? Did this guy have some kind of a vendetta against Esol? The old Esol? Is that why he's doing all of this? Merging of Esol's. So, so he killed him, the old Esol. Like he died from that battle. Yeah, they're in the hero. What was it called? I forgot. All right. You know what? I can see now why Esol would kill. What was her name? Rose. No. What was her name? That girl. Um. In Moon. Sorry, not Rose. Uh. Because, like, I don't know exactly why, but seeing how the things concluded, it wouldn't surprise me if Rock kind of gave him an order, like, oh, do this, and he would just something like that. Okay, that is it. That ended in a very weird way because, like, now we know that. But I guess in a way you could say that, like, nicest, not nice, but uh, Oh my god, I just forgot his name. What was his name? The person in, the ordinary guy who became nice later on. Um, you you Yinlin, something like Yinlin, right? Something like that. I forgot it. I have difficulty remembering um, Chinese names unless and until it's very simplified, because I'm so accustomed to remembering Japanese names. Oh my god, I forgot his name. But yeah, like, his story also ended in a very abrupt manner, like, just ended. And now here we have this like, I can see what they're doing this, like, they're setting up the stage so that at the end everything will kind of converge, and we'll get an answer to everything or whatever, something like that. And like, somehow X is involved in all of this, because in the previous story, in this story as well, there were sections where you could hear X finger, like, his finger clicking. Today's episode as well, when they were fighting, when the transition happened from 3D to 2D, the click, his finger click happened. Now, one thing I guess you could say, um, that I would say that Rock orchestrating this whole thing, being the mastermind behind all of this, never really crossed my mind. But at the same time, I did think that this guy Rock, he just has like too many. What can I say? Like, some things that he did kind of made me a little bit weirded out. For example, if you remember, in one of the episodes, he he used Yancho to do the whole, if you remember, that the whole handshake thing with the kids. Like, he was here and he like kind of used him and his name to do that. And I was like, okay, like, that's a bit weird, because, like, yeah, he helps him out a lot, but using his, like, popularity for something like that, for promotion of his own store, it is a little bit, like, I don't know, it just didn't sit well with me, because it kind of reminded me of just how the other companies use the heroes for their own monetary gain, you know like, and like Esol, like the company Esol was like involved with, that freaking guy, he like pushed so hard on Esol doing as the audience says, that he was the reason for his downfall, you could say, because he was the one who forced him. First and foremost, Esol didn't even want to do this. He forced him to like enter it. And even if you scratch that out, I feel like Esol wouldn't have used his lightning, that thing, if that guy didn't push him to do that. And he was like, oh, like, your fans don't, you know that whole thing. So, like, this is the problem here. Like, you are not letting the hero do his thing. Who the hell are you to dictate what the hero should do? He's more qualified in knowing what to do when. So as soon as you fall into this whole thing where, like, you're just doing this for like the trust value. Like, I understand trust value is important, but at the same time, I don't know, I just get the feeling that he was pushing too much into it, and that it just, yeah, it just went horribly wrong in the end. But yeah, I went on a tangent. I was talking about Rock. So Rock, the way he used him to do the handshake, that whole thing, I didn't really think much about it, but it did make me feel weird, because I was like, okay, that's, like, that's a little bit, like using him for his power to promote your own, like, like thing. And that's a bit, a little bit, something that I don't really appreciate. I didn't think much of it, because I just thought that, oh, it's just, like, just normal stuff. They probably like, like, do stuff like this now and then, and like, 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 what's his name? Yancho was okay with it, so I was like, it's fine. But now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, that did feel I did feel that section a little bit weird. That, because I was like, if he did something like this, like, that makes him no better than the other companies that just use the heroes for their own popularity and their own things. So that's one thing. There were a few other sections where I did feel a little bit weird, because some of the sections you could see he was too damn resourceful. Like, it's as if, like, he knows what to do in what situation, and he's like guiding each, like, Yancho in such a way. Also, today's episode as well, another section made me feel a little bit weird is when, if you remember, Jia was like, oh, why, like, back away from this, don't go in this direction. And Rock literally ignored her completely and started telling, Yancho about the whole, oh, you should make him use his ultimate technique, then I can do something about it. That whole thing. Because, I was like, yeah, that's a bit weird because he's pushing him in the direction of, like, yeah, obviously you can support him, but at the same time, I was expecting him to be like the voice of reason and be like, oh, I know what you're doing this, but you should be careful in to you don't push yourself too far into that direction, because once you go too deep down that road, you won't be able to come out. Like something similar to what Jia was telling him. I was expecting something like that from him, and he literally didn't say any of that. He completely ignored Jia, and he just gave him like a way out, and was like, oh, like, yeah, if you do this, I can help you out. As if he was pushing him in the direction of revenge, I guess you could say. So yeah, that's these few things did make me feel a little bit weird, but I didn't really think that he would be like I did think he might be like some kind of a like, I don't know, like maybe some kind of a like important person, but I never thought that he would be the mastermind. That is something that never crossed my mind. I'll be honest. Like I never thought that he would be the one who called, you know, uh, those guys to, like, and threatened them, blackmailed them, took one of the other brothers hostage, and do all of this. I never thought that would be the case. Like, yeah, but it connects. Like I think in the very big first episode where we got to see like the Esol episode, in the very beginning episode, I think I said something along the lines of like, why the hell would someone pay money to these two to kidnap a random kid who, like, for money? No, obviously not. Like, I could understand them kidnapping Shanchao, because Shanchao's father was like, very wealthy. He was like the Treeman Group, like president and all that. I could understand that. Why the hell would someone pay that amount of money to two people to kidnap a random kid, like, like who has no, like nothing connected to that kid? Like, I don't think Jia's parents are rich or anything, like rich. So why the hell would someone pay that much money? Like, if random hoodlums kidnap the kid, I could understand. Like, I would be like, okay, yeah, they were doing it for their, money. But why would someone in the background pay a group of people to kidnap a kid who has no value in that sense, for, like, to it just, like, that's why I was thinking maybe the kid was special. I think I said in the first episode, I was like, oh, maybe the kid is someone special or something. Maybe he's, I don't know, like maybe he's special, and that's why his trust value gives you an extra boost of power. That's why, like, some other people are trying to kidnap the kid. That's what I thought. But I never thought about the fact that maybe the person who did this, the person who is doing this kidnapping, maybe he knows Yancho, and he's like playing him like a puppet. That I never thought, and now that I know, like, he was the one behind it, it kind of fit. It kind of connected. The puzzles connected, and I was like, ah, that's why. That's why he particularly made those guys kidnap Jia's brother, because he knew that that would affect, like that would make him, yeah. So damn. Now I don't know the reason why he did this. Like I said, there's a moment I was thinking maybe he was, um, I don't know, he had some kind of rivalry against the old Esol. But now that I'm thinking, I don't think that's the case. I feel like he just wanted to take out Esol, old Esol, and sponsor someone, or like, who would be like his puppet for the future, and he would be like the mastermind behind him. Like, that's how literally it worked. He backed the new Esol, which is Yancho, from the very beginning, made him to the person he is now, you know in good way, in a good way or in a bad way as well. But in good way, I would say is because obviously, like Yancho always wanted to become, and he gave him that opportunity. But the bad part is heavily overshadows it, which is the reason behind it is like he definitely wanted something out of Yancho. And when Yancho was like working in his place, I guess he set his eyes on him and he was like, I can make this guy my puppet and make him do I'll build him up, and then I will again, I'm still not sure what his main reason for it doing is, but I would assume it would be something like that, like, oh, he would make a hero from the scratch, and then he would be the one calling the shots at the end. He would have like someone at his disposal who is this powerful, top 10 hero, and yeah, maybe something like that, I don't know. Now there's another thing I didn't understand, is not didn't understand, but I think, wait a minute, you know what, I think the opening will give me the answer. Oh no, never mind. Oh no, yeah, I was going to say, in the opening, there comes a section where there's three. I thought three, but it's actually four. Um, three guys sitting on a chair and just, kind of, these guys are like the top of the companies. I'm assuming we have that guy here, the Treeman Company president here. You can see that. There's another old dude here who we don't know. There's a kid I can see just kind of sitting, and this is the one that I kind of missed, is that there's another chair, and beside that chair you can see someone standing, and that guy is Rock, I think. Like the the long hair, the long white hair. I think that is Rock. I'm not sure. There's a possibility he's Rock. So he's probably one of the presidents of the other companies, and that would make more sense why he wanted to take out the old Esol and make a new Esol who would literally be at his beck and call, and who he would take to the top 10. So he's one of the presidents of the other companies, I guess. I don't know. Something like that. Yeah. We'll see, But yeah, that would make sense why he's doing all of this. Um, right. You know what, like we're seeing like all these different companies behind all these different people and everything. I do wonder who's behind X, because I get the feeling that X might be solo. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just get that vibe that X, who's like operating, is probably operating solo. Like, I don't think there's any company behind him, or if there is, that'll be kind of interesting to see which company is, because X is number one, right? So yeah, like we have Nice. We seen Nice. Behind Nice, not Nice now. Like it's not Nice anymore. It's the other guy. Um, so uh, he behind him is a Treeman group. We get to see behind Esol. The new Esol is this dude. So like each company is kind of involved with one of the top heroes, I'm assuming. So you know, I do wonder who's behind X, if there is anyone behind X at all, because I don't know, there's a high possibility X is doing all this solo. That wouldn't surprise me if that's actually the case. Anyways, so yeah, yeah, like I said, I kind of thought that maybe Rock is someone important, but I never thought he would be the mastermind. Like, yeah, that did surprise me, kind of, at the end. Right. Hmm. Damn, that's crazy. Okay, so right, there you go. That was today's episode. Okay, let me see if there's anything to talk about. Um, oh, so what happened was, in the end, as you can see, the old Esol died. You know, when that battle happened, and because of that, his trust value merged with the new Esol, and and now he became the top 10 hero, like, and his you can see there was a section, popularity was going like this, and it just goes like up like this. That was the section where the old Esol died, and all the trust value that was on that Esol transferred to him, which makes sense, I guess, because he was also Isol, the new Isol. So like yeah. So that was the section where that surge, sun like vertical surge like this. Yeah, and that's why he immediately became top 10. Because right. Okay, so that's what happened, and now you can see I couldn't really see how he reacted in the end. Yancho, when Rock came in and stood beside him and was like, looking from this high up, is kind of like yeah. So I do wonder how he reacted and what he would like feel about that whole situation, because he would realize at that point, right, that oh, this I was just a puppet in all of this. So yeah, but I guess we'll never get to know for now, at least, because I think next episode onwards we'll get a new set of characters, a new story. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. For now, at least, like all these are, we won't get any answer to, like questions like how did Yancho feel at that point after knowing that this like all happened because I was just being played as a puppet? What happened to Shia? Like I guess she probably like stopped all contact with Yancho or something like that, because I don't know. I just get that. I'm not sure if that's what happened. No, but you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Shia still had, I don't know, like kept contact with him, because I don't know, I just got that final scene where when she was in Lucky Xian's show alone and she was crying, and then you can see the empty sea, which I don't know, which I thought that was an indication of showing that, oh, she left and she would keep no more contact with Yancho. But I do remember one of the previous episodes where she said that whatever happened, wherever you will be, you will always have my trust or something like that. So yeah, anyways, like these questions are kind of in the air now. We don't really know what is going to happen. Like questions like I said, what did Yancho feel after realizing what happened and that Rock was just someone who was puppeteering him? What happened to Xia? Then yeah, like these type of answers. Yeah, I guess if in the next episode there's a new set of characters, we probably won't get the answer now, maybe later. Same with Nice's story as well. If you remember, like like it also had a lot of unanswered questions, like for example, like who killed Moon? Like no, like we know who killed Moon. It was this you know this new Isol, Yancho, I think. But why? you know yeah. So why Moon in particular? Yeah, like I said, now that I know that Rock is behind all of this, that's why I said I wouldn't be like the fact that Yancho, or Isol killed Moon. It is actually not a surprise to me, because I feel like this is something that Rock would do. He would probably just order Isol to go and take out someone involved with Nice, just so that he could put him down and gain relevance himself, because that's what would happen, right? Like after that scene, they didn't show what happened, how Knives reacted. Like Knives was like not Knives, sorry, I forgot his name, but how he reacted. Like the story, his story ended over there. But yeah, he's definitely not going to be. Yeah, so you know what? Still don't have any answer. Let's wait for it. I think we'll get all the answers in the end. Everything will converge. Right. Now, there's another thing in today's episode, which that part was crazy. Like the way the transition happened is like, like you can see that Yancho was like, oh, like Rock, Uncle Rock, like that seat, how does it work all the time? Like anyone who goes there and who sits on that seat, they become a couple. Like, how does that happen? And he's like, it's just, it's nothing special over there. It's just two seats I kept there. And that place is just best for confession. Like, there's like a little window there. The sun comes directly in. It's a nice atmosphere. So people think that it is like, it's like a thing that people think, and that's why it happens. Like it's not nothing special. Like yeah, it's just something. Here we go. I just set up a table over there. That is all. Yeah, people are interesting creatures. And like that transition happens. you can say it doesn't influence anything. Yeah. But once you set the game rules, things will all fall into place. Yeah. So that transition was crazy. I was like, damn, this is how you reveal that? But yeah, like I said, I feel like a few people might have already clocked on and realized that this guy is the mastermind. But I'll be honest, I didn't realize that. I did think he's someone important. I didn't think he was the mastermind behind everything. Like, like the whole kidnapping incident to everything. That I didn't realize. Like, but at that point, I was like, oh, okay, right. So yeah, so that transition scene did kind of catch me off guard. Um, but yeah, I feel like a few people might have already like caught that from the very beginning. I didn't though. Like I did kind of think something similar to it, but not that. So so that scene was a little bit surprise for me. Oh boy. Like suddenly I was like, what the hell? Why? How did he suddenly change his dress and everything? What happened? And then I realized what happened. Oh boy. Right, and there you go. That's what happened. Yeah. Now, it's always nice to like I always like find it very interesting whenever the transition happens and you can hear the hand clicking. Today's episode that also again happened, and I'm just thinking, what is going on here? Like, like how does he always at the opportune moment? How does he always do the transition? Like, does he like? I'm guessing X was probably watching it from his television or something. Not television, but I don't know. He was probably somehow keeping track of this, and he did the whole clicking thing. So even in the previous story as well, he did the clicking thing with when there was the battle between uh, like against what was his name? God Godai, right? Yeah, the what Enlighter became. So I'm like, what the hell? This guy just sitting down and seeing everything and just clicking and just making the transition. And I'm assuming the people who are doing like fighting, doing all of this, they have no idea that this is happening, right? Like, what's going on? It'll be crazy if in the end there's some kind of a revelation that like some kind of a revelation where X like breaks the fourth wall or something. I don't think that's gonna happen. That would be quite funny. Like he would be like, "Oh, I know you guys are watching us." That's why I always did the clicking in those opportune, perfect moments to change the whole thing from 3D to 2D because I know those are hype moments. That's why I was doing that. Like it directly talks to the audience, like us. That'd be crazy, but I doubt anything like that is gonna happen. It's just a funny thing that I thought. Um, but yeah, I do wonder the reason why he's like changing the whole thing, and like it's like the biggest significance behind it. We'll get to know that later, I guess. But yeah, now okay, now here's another thing. I do wonder if the next hero will be Lucky Xian because we saw Lucky Xian today, and if you can see how they're doing it, they always move on to a hero who has a connection to the previous hero. Like with nicest story, Isol at the end came in the final episode. So then we move on to Isol, and now after Isol, the final episode we see Lucky Xian, and then maybe we'll move on to Lucky Xian. So that might be something, like yeah. And I do wonder if there'll be some hero story which are actually kind of happy ending instead. Like both the heroes that we have had sad endings for now at least. So I do hope that there's some heroes whose ending, not ending. I'm saying ending. Nothing has ended. Like the story is still going. But you know what I'm trying to say. Like the ending episode is a lot more positive and like inspiring and happy. Like, oh yes, I was able to become the hero that I wanted to, and that's where it ends. Not like this, like a sudden cliffhanger. Like like with nicer story. This one, not none of that. I do wonder if there's some heroes like who'll actually get like a positive end to their character arc, and yeah, but you can just hope, I guess. Like I don't know. I hope Lucky Xian's story is a little bit positive because she's an idol, right? It should be happy. I doubt that. by the way things are going, I feel like it's just going to be as dark, and not dark, I would say that, like, it's not really dark, but it's a little bit depressing, both the stories that we have had, like especially the ending. So yeah. Anyways, so there you go. That's what happened. Right. And the old Isol, he, like, I feel the most bad for him because he literally had nothing. Like, first and foremost, he didn't even want to do the bad. Like, he never cared about, like, popularity. You can see that as well when his agent was like, "Oh, your popularity is going down," like, yeah. And like, I do kind of say that, yeah, these like institutions, these companies, they are like just popularity kind of thing. They're just focusing on that. But I do understand that popularity is important, especially in this world, because your power is directly connected to it. But like Esol, the old Esol, he definitely didn't want to do a lot of things, but he had to do it. Like, I feel like the whole, if you remember, there was an episode where he was like announcing his merch and everything. I don't think he wanted to do any of that. Like, his manager, his that freaking guy probably pushed him to do that. But yeah, like I said, these are important, but I feel like there should be sections where you should do what you want and you should do it like you want to, because at the end, as you can see, Isol first and foremost didn't want to fight. Second, he didn't want to use that technique, or he had no plans. But then again, he was like, his agent was like, "Oh, you have to do this. Everyone's like, like wanting to use the special power, special technique." And at the end, he did that because I guess he thought like, yeah, let me use it, and that's what ended up, like killing him. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, it's just, what can I say? I just feel bad for him because he just was a hero, and then this happened. Like, just caught in this politics, these stuff that are not really necessary for being a true hero. Like, right? Like, much, all these things, like, yeah, like, these do increase trust value. But you think ESO wanted to do any of that? Like, all those, like, selling merch and telling the people that, guys, buy my limited edition action figure. Like, 50% off. Like, you think he wanted to do any of that? No. He had to. Oh boy. Yeah, you know what? The best thing I feel like is, it's difficult. It's going to be very difficult. Best thing is going solo. You know, it's very difficult. I know it'll be very difficult, but I'm sure there are heroes here who are solo. Who are just self-made. That is the best thing, because you will be able to keep your own convictions, and you don't have to fit into a certain mold to appeal to the audience. The audience love you for who you are, and as something like that. And the only people I feel like who will be able to reach that level are probably, like, people who, like, I don't know, like, either they have to do something very significant for the people to notice him, or they should be some kind of an influencer. I feel like influencers have the best way of reaching that position because they're influencers. Like, they, like, I feel like Moon was a person like that, who gained her own powers and everything from being just a travel vlogger. And then stuff changed. She met, like, Nice, and all those stuff happened, and she got connected to Nice, and it just went downhill from there. But if she kept going on her own way, just solo, she probably could have prospered so well. uh, yeah, because this is making me realize that it's very difficult, but going solo without any backup is the best thing in this world, because you won't have to fit into a certain mold. For otherwise, your company, your, like, sponsors, they would be like, "Oh, you have to do this, you have to do that," like, even if it goes completely against what you want to, you have to just do it because of that, and that won't be you. and if you stop doing it, the company will back out and you lose all your popularity. So that's why self-made solo is the best, I think. And I do wonder if there will be any hero here who's just solo. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if X is actually solo, you know. But who knows? We'll see. Um, right. Okay. And what about Yancho? I don't know. He just got caught up in this whole thing, and you can see that he probably blamed himself as well for Shanchao's death, because obviously he had a little bit of a, like a what's that word, like he felt a little bit inferior, a little bit of inferiority complex towards Shanchao. All the times you can see he just kind of scratched off his face in his head. He didn't really acknowledge him in that way. So during the time when he had to step up to save him, there was a section where he says that he hesitated, and that hesitation came from his, like feelings for Shanchao and Jia, and that he probably thinks that if I didn't hesitate back then, I probably could have done something. Maybe even if not completely stop the bullet, maybe, I don't know, something. Maybe I could have diverted the bullet. Maybe she could have, like, something I could have done. I could have gone there quicker and saved him. So that's why in the end he says, I won't hesitate this time. But you know what? I feel like this time, like, I don't know. I feel like hesitation would have helped this time. Because if he hesitated and did something, he probably wouldn't have ended up killing the old Isol. Because he didn't hesitate, he killed him. Like, where he needed to not hesitate, he made mistake of hesitating. And I feel like it would have been better if he hesitated, he didn't hesitate. That sucks. That just, yeah. Okay. Alright, and there you go. That was today's episode. That was my overall impressions. Now let me quickly go through the episode. Let me see if I missed anything. Right, the first scene we get to see the funeral, and yeah, okay. Someone in my Discord mentioned that Chan Chao's father is a Treeman Group president, which I actually didn't realize up until that point. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, he is. I saw that. I realized that now. But yeah, he is. Like, he's there in the funeral, and this is where you can see Yancho kind of changes. He goes and he's like, I will hunt them now. You have to help me. So right, that was that. And he says, like, he knows who the guy is. He was that guy who was hired. That guy. Now we also know that he was also being blackmailed. That is just crazy. Like, he was just not doing it for money or anything. He was just doing it because he had to be. Otherwise, his brother would have been killed. Okay, now then we get to see that you can see, like, Yancho kind of goes back to his place. Jia also follows him, and Jia realizes that he's starting to walk a path where he won't be able to come back from. But Yancho's just like, no, I'm going to do this. This time I won't. Like, yeah. And then in the whole press conference, and he goes and he says that, yeah, like, I will be the weight that balances, like, like, up until now, like, the weight has been too much dipping towards the old Isol, so I will be that weight that balances this. And he says, like, yeah, I challenge him to a duel. Right, and then back in Isol's base, his place, Isol is like, I don't care. But the guy's like, no, you have to. Your trust value is going down. Isol is like, okay, then I'll do it. Right, and you can see taking advantage of this freaking YouTubers are, like, making videos, and, like, they're like, oh, like, like, the old Isol is bad. We have to, like, do this. I loved Isol. Now I hate him. The new Isol is the real one. And I'm like, yeah, bro, we know what you're doing. You're just farming it for views. I doubt you have any opinion about Isol. You're just doing it because it's going to bring views in. So there you go. Right. Good God. Oh my God. Anyways, yeah, so in the end, you can see the old Isol is then convinced that he has to go and fight. And we get to see Yancho punching and like that. Now, this is where they think of strategies to take out the old Isol. Like I said, this part did make me feel a little bit weird about Uncle Rock because you can see throughout this section, Gia is trying her best to kind of calm, Yancho down and be like, oh, like, are you sure about this? Like, we can still back out and everything. While Rock is completely ignoring her as a trust, like treating her as if she's air, and just going and telling Yancho about how, oh, like I can do this, maybe this will help, to bring down Isol, this and that. Like I did feel it a little bit weird because what made me feel weird is the fact that he wasn't even acknowledging Zia, which felt like a very weird thing to do even as a human being. Like like someone is trying their best to do something and you're just completely ignoring that person and like taking a different, like a solution to that same person. Like you should at least acknowledge her, right, and be like, oh yeah, I can understand what you're saying, like something, tell her something. I think he completely ignored her there, completely everything that she was saying. He acted as if that wasn't even happening. That made me feel a little bit weird because I was like, that's a very weird thing to do, right? Like there's someone trying to say something to him and you're just ignoring that and just talking to him. Like yeah, it did make me feel a little bit weird, but I didn't think much about it because I always got this vibe that this guy is something off about him. But yeah, like I said, I didn't really think he would be the mastermind, the true mastermind. I did think maybe there's something up with him. Maybe he's someone important or something. Never did I think that he would be the person in the phone. That I didn't think, at least. You know. Anyways, and yeah, and then he tells him that, oh, you have to make him use his special technique. And Yancho was like, how will I do that? And he's like, don't worry, I have a plan. And yeah, so then we have Jia and Yancho, you know, talk on the beach and talk about, and Jia talks about how he how she met him. He fell into the mud and saved a kitten. Then he was the person behind the hero in the hero show. All that. Yeah, and then the question, the whole thing shifts towards, do you really want this? And he's like, yeah, this time I won't hesitate. And he's like, if I run away, I will be like disappointing all the people that trust in me. And and she has like, no, that is not what I'm trying to say. You're not running away. And she realized that nothing she'll say will get through him, so she just left. I think that is the final time that they actually talk to each other. Yeah, that was it. She leaves, and then the day comes where the battle begins. People are cheering. We have Lucky Xian performing. Jia just there alone in the concert where she was supposed to be going with him, Yancho. Yeah, and then the battle begins. We have the old Isol with his, like defense, like impenetrable defense. But this is where we see what like the trick that they played, that Rock played, which is he got the advertisers to not advertisers, but a few people, like a few plants, a few bots, you could say, to like say in social media that, oh, why is he not using his special technique? And that's how they planned on making him use his special technique, and it worked because the guy behind him, the guy behind the old diesel, his company president or whatever, that guy, he was like panicking. He was like, oh my god, people are telling him to use the special technique, he should use it. Like he's like, come on, do it, your trust value is going down. And he had no plans on using it, but then in the end he got coerced into it, and he was like, okay. And that was the reason behind his downfall, because as soon as he did that, the like shield that he was using, it dispersed. He was defenseless, and that is where the new Isol, Yancho, starts going all out. And yeah, and this time, like I said, up until now, he was thinking every single time he hesitated. He hesitated with Shan Chao's situation as well, and he was like, "This time I won't hesitate." But I'm like, it probably would have been better if you hesitated this time, because it ended up killing the old Isol. I wasn't actually expecting him to die. Like, I don't know. I just thought he would be defeated, and then everyone will forget the old Isol, and he'll just, you know, just he won't be a hero anymore. Something like that. I thought. He just killed. Like, he just ended up dying. That is just, yeah. And this is where we get to see the whole Uncle Rock with his little wisdom. Is Yancho's like, oh, how does this work? This the couple seat, and he's like, it's just it's just two seats that I put. Yeah, you just set up the whole the whole place. Just set up the playing field. Like make a few like tweaking here and there, and people are just going to do as you want them to, and the whole transition happens. But he's like in his suit and with his hair is like all open and everything. And yeah, and this is where we see the whole surge happens, where the old Isol dies, and this is also where we get to know that he was the mastermind behind everything. He's the one who told them to kidnap the kid. He was the one who threatened them to yeah, everything he did, you know. And and I thought that guy did, that company guy behind the Isol. Like, yeah, he didn't do any of that, but still his whole pushing for Isol to do as the audience wants to did kind of ended up becoming the reason for his end, you could say. So yeah, anyways, after that shop, that place, that he just closed shop, and he's here in the hero residency, the top hero residency. And Isol is standing, Yancho standing there looking outside, and he comes in and he's like, oh, it looks great, right? Standing here and looking at all the people down there, and the view certainly looks different. And like I said, he's wearing a mask. You couldn't really see what he was thinking or how he reacted there. I do wonder how he's going to react, because he should realize now, right, that everything that happened was this guy. How is he going to react? Because every single thing from Shan Chao's death to the kidnapping, everything was orchestrated by him. So, what will he feel? Like, I think like a lot of people might say that he'll feel very angry and everything. I don't think that will be the emotion that he'll feel. He'll probably just feel, I don't know, tired. I think, like, just being, I don't know, just like the realization that all the things that you've been doing up until now is just someone has been puppeteering you to do this. It's just, I don't know. It's like it brings in like a whole different set of emotions than just pure anger. I feel like it'll be, yeah. But yeah, I don't think we'll get to know now how he would react there, because the episode ended there. And like I said, I think next episode we'll get to see a different hero. I think it would be Lucky Shan, because we saw Lucky Shan in today's episode. And that's how the story is going, like connecting. Like each episode, story arc end, we have a certain character come in. First it was Isol, so we moved on to Isol. Now it's Lucky Shan, so we'll probably move on to Lucky Shan. But yeah, a lot of questions, like I said. What will Yancho do here? What does he think about this? Where did Jia go? And all those questions. Yeah. Okay, and there you go. That was today's episode number 7 of TV Hero X. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel or you haven't subscribed. Comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know. I'll check them out. That is it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next week with another episode of 2B Hero X. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.